Hi, Marta.
Hi.
I know you'll be leaving the shelter today to go back home. The earthquake was pretty bad, and I'm glad we could provide some safety and help to your family during this first week. I know you must be looking forward to getting home, but maybe there are some things I can help you with for when you get home.
Well, I keep thinking a lot about the earthquake, and our apartment really shook, but do you think there will be more aftershocks?
After an earthquake, there will be aftershocks. They usually get less and less strong over time, but sometimes one can be pretty big, but not as big as the earthquake itself. I can tell you're worried. I wonder what you start to think when there's an aftershock.
Well, everyone in the shelter is always talking about the next big one, and that makes me worry that something worse is going to happen. And the aftershock last night was awful because I woke up and my heart was beating so fast, and I couldn't go back to sleep even after the aftershock was over. And I just kept thinking, what if the bookcase had slid into me instead of the wall?
I can imagine that would be pretty scary for you. So one of the things you need is a plan to help you with your reactions to aftershocks. Aftershocks are very common and a strong kind of reminder. They make us remember the danger of the earthquake and even make us imagine worse things that could happen. That's what your heart rate was telling you. The most important thing to be able to do is to find ways to help calm down afterwards.
Like how?
There are a couple things you can do. First, you can tell yourself, it's okay that I feel scared again. The earthquake was pretty scary, and it hasn't been that long ago since it happened. Then you can help yourself by saying, aftershocks are going to happen. It's not the same. It's not like when the earthquake first happened. Then tell yourself how it's different. I know from your father that the apartment building has been inspected, and it's safe to live there.
Yeah.
He also told me that during this week, before you go home, he has had all the furniture, like the bookcases, bolted to the wall. You need to remind yourself of that.
Well, yeah, I'm really glad he did that because I don't think I would want to go home and if I had to worry about the bookcase.
Exactly. I know that while you've been here at the shelter, you and your family have made a family preparedness plan of what to do in case of emergencies. This is another way to think differently if there's an aftershock.
Well, that family plan is a lot more helpful than I thought it was going to be. I feel a lot better about what to do now.
So let's talk now about what you can do for your heart rate. Your body felt like it was in danger, but it really wasn't. It was like a false alarm. I know you're 13 and it doesn't always feel good to let others know if you're scared, but being alone can sometimes make it harder to get your heart rate down. It's okay to say to someone else, that was scary. Even your parents or close friends. I'll bet you have ways to calm yourself down.
Well, yeah, I like to listen to music.
Perfect. Then prepare yourself by having some music you like to listen to, and use it. Make sure you choose something that isn't too loud or too fast, so it can help your heart rate to go down. Practice that ahead of time. That can help you get back to sleep if you've been awakened by an aftershock. Sound like a good idea?
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's look at other ways we can help you with reminders as you get ready to go back home. Let me explain a little bit more what a reminder is. A reminder is something that happens now that makes you think about and remember the earthquake. Reminders can be places you go, people and things you see, or something you do, like an activity, for instance. Let's talk about a couple of reminders that you might have when you get back home.
Well, I know that our apartment building's safe to live in, but there's still this big crack in the bedroom wall where the bookcase hit, and I don't think I could go to sleep looking at that.
Well, that's also a good example of a reminder you can do something about.
Well, no, I can't because my dad said that the people who own the apartment building are waiting for the insurance people to fix it, and that'll take forever.
Any thoughts of what you can do in the meantime? There has to be something you can do so you don't have to stare right at it before you go to bed each night.
Well, like what, just not look?
Now, that would be pretty hard.
Well, I could hide it, right? Like, I could put a favorite poster over it or something.
That's a great idea. Just make sure it's big enough to really cover more than just the crack, so it makes it something positive you look at before you go to sleep.
Yeah, that's cool, and it would be great not to see that crack every night.
Perfect. There are other kinds of reminders. They can be something you hear, a physical sensation or feeling. Like if you're having a test at school and feeling nervous, that feeling can remind you of how you felt during the earthquake. How about if we think about one of the types of reminders that might get to you when you get back home? Like TV, for instance.
Well, I don't think I'd want to watch TV about the earthquake, and I don't really know what to do about that because my dad always watches the news.
Maybe we can talk to your parents about that before you go home. You deserve to be able to enjoy some of your favorite programs and to have time with your dad without worrying about being reminded when you don't want to be. Would that be okay?
Yeah, and it's probably good that my dad doesn't watch too much TV about the earthquake either.
You're right. You're a really good learner. You know, it's a good idea to be aware of more reminders when you get home, in your neighborhood, or at school. Just remember some of the things we talked about and try to use them with these other reminders. If you find that it's getting harder for you, you can get some help, like from counselors at school, that can build on what we have done here today.
Well, thanks for everything. It was really helpful.
You're welcome. I'm glad we spent some time together.